Okay, so I'm working on myself. I definitely need to get some more lighting so that this could look a little bit better. But anyway, with that being said, um, let's get into um, okay, let's get into Lyle. Um, what we are here for today, which is season 6, episode 18 of LAMH Huntsville. Okay. So Letitia is, oh, that makes me feel better. Okay, so Letitia comes late and to the baby sip and see. And the event is for me, I find, let me see if I can put this up here. I find the event to be a bit underwhelming. I thought, ugh, okay, that's better. I thought that um everything was poor. I thought that the decor and everything was just very underwhelming. But, to each his own. I don't think that you need to spend a ton of money to look nice, but I definitely think that it was barely anything to write home to. Um, we might as well just, I don't see what you need a planning person to put that together. But that's, and I'm not saying that to be shade. I'm saying that to be, I would not hire these folks to be doing any event of mine. That's all I'm saying. Um, Stormy is giving Tisha the first of all, Tisha's like, did I miss anything? Did I miss any games? Everyone was pretty silent. She's like, so what's going on? Why is everybody pretty silent on this? And um, why are they any why are they um why are they any kind of like what's going on. So the idea is, why is everybody not talking? So everybody's just sitting around just hanging out, right? So the thing is that Stormy is really giving like Tisha this really cold shoulder. And Kimmy is, and so Tisha's trying to make a comment like, I thought we were good. We were cool. We just got over everything. We just talked about it and things seem to be cool. And then as of right now, you're kind of like standoffish. And this is very similar to what Mel has said about Stormy. And I'm wondering about this because I feel like as an only child, sometimes you do get this misreading of other people, of people like we can be cool, like on one, we could be the coolest person, but then when we get in front of folks, we may not be as cool. And so I'm wondering if that is something that is coming off. Um, you know what? Sorry. I'm just kind of going through some stuff. Anyway, so I'm wondering if this is kind of coming off, if this is the vibe that's coming off. So we're having a conversation here with Uh, well, they kind of eventually then get to the whole, well, look, we were talking about the Black Expo. Tiffany's at the moment was breastfeeding her child, so she wasn't around. And Kimmy is just like, look, I think maybe we should all get together and have feedback, give you feedback. Tisha's like, no, thank you. I don't really want this. And really, Tisha's on this energy, like, I really am not. I came here to have this whole sippancy. I really didn't come here, which is probably why she didn't RSVP. It's probably why she came in super late, thinking that she can kind of just sneak in and sneak out. Come to find out, you are the topic of conversation, sis. And so therefore, we're going to have a whole discussion about you um, with you here. So we're back to Nell talking about how she wasn't invited and how she felt that she should have been. And he's just like, yeah, we're not going to relitigate this. And I was like, yeah, we are, because I want to see how it feels. And it also seems like you're coming up with this energy here today that's the exact opposite of the energy that when we had a private one-on-one dinner. Um, Kiki was invited, and so Tisha's like, I can't believe that Kiki would be invited. Everyone was thinking of it more of a, why would she come? Why would she even be invited to this space? Mel's the only one who's like, I'm actually kind of concerned about this because maybe something else is going on. Um, I don't know. I think Mel is trying to be the most reasonable one here and trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, even though which is nice because technically I think it's a little hard to give this chick the benefit of the doubt, but that's just neither here nor there. Um, Mel is rehashing kind of everything that was going on with the Black Expo. Tiffany's, she's giving this whole rehashing because Tiffany's now back here. And Tiffany's like, look, everyone has all these ideas and everything to say. Look, then maybe it sounds like we should just have another one. So Tisha thinks that was pretty cool to say. But then Tiffany's like, and at the new one, I'll keep the front seat warm. She's at the front row warm. My bad. It's so good. This is what is it, vanilla whiskey? And I am not a whiskey drinker. But when I tell you vanilla whiskey, it goes down so smooth. It goes down smoother than vanilla vodka, and I'm a vodka drinker. Anyway, okay, that's not the point. Sorry, stay focused. Focused. Where we at? Okay, so Tisha isn't supposed to be. Tisha's like this. Isn't this supposed to be a celebration? Are we supposed to be celebrating sipping seeds? Shouldn't we be seeing the baby? Whatever. Then I was like, look, what happened with this $100 that you talking about? Because Mel gave this whole rehashing, and Nell's like, Mel gave a rehashing about what was happening. Nell's like, so wait, what was up with the $100? So she wants to know since she wasn't there. Tisha's ignoring her. So she's like, Tisha's ignoring her. I'm not even really talking to you. So Stormy, are you responding? Are you also not talking to me about this? And then so Tisha eventually just gets up and leaves. She feels like she's being attacked by this event, but what everybody thinks. Stormy goes over there and is like, look, it may come off like people are attacking her, and I can understand why she didn't want to talk about it at the moment, but at the same token, Tisha also likes to run away from folks whenever somebody is trying to have a conversation with her, so she shouldn't do this either. So Tiffany begins to start giving this whole explanation about what was going on, about some people were getting charged, other people were not getting charged. I'm not going back through this. And Nell was like, wait a second, at the dinner, they said that nobody paid. Nobody was getting charged anything. So was that a lie? So then by the time that Tisha comes back to the table and Nell's like, so wait a second, when I met with you at dinner, you and Marcel, you guys said that nobody paid and you covered everything. This was a volunteer thing. This was given back to the community. Was that a lie? And so then Tisha's like, sure, that's a lie. I mean, I get that Tisha wants. I don't feel like Tisha's being attacked. I feel like people are asking legit questions, which is exactly what Kimmy's saying. Look, people are having reasonable questions since they donated their time. You told them all of this is a social um this event to give back to the community, and then all of a sudden money's being moved about. You do not have to open your books, but you should give a more honest and consistent answer to people. That's it. And that's how I feel. Part of the problem with both Tisha and Marceau is that they get very hostile over something very small, and then people have all these questions, and people don't understand why you are so hostile towards something that seems so minuscule. What's the issue? Why are you so bothered? That's the key question. So now it's like, we didn't, no, wait a second. It's not that we didn't say that anybody paid, it said that we didn't make any money. See, semantics. Okay. So Tisha again feels attacked. Kimmy's trying to be like, look, we should have like this whole town hall to discuss everything and think about like what can be done differently, look at the constructive criticisms and everything else so to move forward. Tisha's like, it's not that I don't. She's like, I think that's a good idea, but she still feels attacked. Okay. Stormy's like, look, I actually don't have a problem with you, Tisha. My problem is with Marcel. And Marcel, this is where it gets funny. She's like, Marcel acts like a woman. Technically, Marcel acts like a bitch. And she said it multiple times in different ways. And Mel's like, look, I agree with Stormy. Maybe he does want to hang out with the ladies, but that's not what I was going to say. But she does say that. She's like, look, I agree that I also too have a problem with your husband. And that what we should consider here, since I have this problem with your husband, is how about, and I'm trying, and I don't want to take how I feel with what Marcel's been saying and operating on you. And Tisha's like, I don't want to take, you can kind of go to Marcel to yourself and not come through me. And this is where it gets really kind of interesting because now it's like, look, if you call my husband a woman, then I'm going to have a problem with that. I'm going to throw shade to you. And I think that that's legit. I don't want anybody to say anything negative about my husband. If I have a negative thing to say about my husband, it's going to be me. Like, I don't want you to say anything negative. Even if his family criticizes him, I'm going to take his back a bit. But with that being said, she notices that Tisha's defense of Marcel is very minimal. Because Marcel keeps getting into it with everybody, every woman, and it's just weird, right? And so Kim Kim and Maurice are together and they're going over to this new building that they're building. Micah, another brother, is the project manager. He's not on his timelines and whatever. So they talk about the Black Expo, and then Maurice makes this comment: everything not just about the sip and see, okay. So she's like, look, this is growing legs. because this money thing is growing legs, because Marceau is going around saying that nobody paid any money. Maurice is like, look, I'm not going to talk about it. I'll talk to Marceau, but I'm not going to do it on camera because I don't feel that I don't want to be feeling like everybody's piling up on them because of this event. But she's like, look, Marceau doesn't know how to draw a line with people. He keeps getting into it with different women. And he gets into a woman just like he would get into it with a man. And he's popped off on every woman. And then he's even gone to further to say, Maurice agrees. He's even gone further to say that he doesn't respect Mel because she's selling t-shirts. Maurice laughs. I don't know how, and he does say that he's an ass. I don't know how to interpret this. I don't know if we're supposed to interpret this to say, look, you're wrong, or if we're supposed to interpret this to say that's effed up. How do we interpret this? I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know how Maurice laughter, how I'm supposed to interpret the laughter. I do think he's a bit inappropriate here. Maurice is a bit inappropriate. Marceau is a bit inappropriate. Maurice kind of probably just allows Marceau to just act a fool because Maurice is the older brother. And so Marceau, he just knows he acts a fool. They always bump heads. But Maurice will check Marceau when he feels like he's gone too far on his side. Like when he feels that Maurice has done too much, then he's like, okay, look, bro, you doing too much. I'm your brother. You're doing too much, right? And so that's where we get that kind of shade. But as a whole, I think I find it kind of strange how this is, how this is moving. But anyway, so Mel and Nell are talking. Like I said, I don't know what to say about this. I have no real strong thoughts about it, but you can see that he's getting tight lipped and tight, jawed, when the jaw starts moving when it comes to the fact that when his money starts getting involved, now we got an issue. I do think though, this is such a small amount. Like that I've thrown conferences and they weren't serving food. And honestly, the food is the most important. The two things that are the most expensive thing is the food and the tech. So the food and the tech is pretty significant. And their decorations was pretty minimal. I can't see how this event, I feel like looking at this event could be easily under 10 grand. I don't even think it hit 10 grand, but I can't imagine that it's more than 10 grand because it's Huntsville and I'm in Los Angeles. And throwing an event like that over the course of 3 days with no food cost 10 grand. Actually, it costs like 6,000. So I can't imagine 6,000. Yeah. I can't imagine a one afternoon expo that is just one empty space, lined up chairs, no food, no water, no, some balloons and some tech, that's going to cost more than I'm even going to say 6 grand because I just can't believe the rental space. And it's not even at a hotel, it's at a rec center. I just can't wrap my head around this costing so much out of pocket. I I just know it from my experience in throwing these kind of conferences, it doesn't work. It's not that expensive. So if you're charging person, if you charge people half of the booths, $100, it seems like a very minuscule amount because it is, but that feels like the amount to cover just the rental cost. Because the tech is the thing that makes it $6,000. And if they want to come out, and if Tisha and Marcel want to come out and say that they've paid more than that, number one, I don't believe it. Number two, I don't believe it. And number three, I don't believe it. Because what I believe is, if I was that company that owned the building, like this rec center, I would have donated it, because it's getting filmed, or I'd have OWN pay for it because it's being filmed at the location. So they are using it as a site, so it can be included in their budget. So they probably not even paying for the space. So what's this $100? To me, it could be one or two things: a storyline, or whatever little couple of dollars that you paid for this, you wanted to offset the charge. So with that being said, Mel and Nell, they supported them, but okay. So Nell's kind of getting upset here because she's like, look, you guys are acting like you don't know what we do. You are acting like you don't know that Marcel doesn't know that I own a daycare center. And this becomes a trend. Marcel keeps going around telling people, I don't know what you do. So you don't know what the Fletchers do. You don't know what Melody does. Some of this is it's becoming a dig. It's a dig. It's an unnecessary dig. Right? So it's an unnecessary dig. And you're doing this dig to make it feel like you need to put them down so that you can be better. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know what Tiffany does. So all of a sudden you have amnesia to what the Fletchers, Tiffany, and Mel does. Gotcha. So Mel is trying to sit here. Mel and Nell are in this conversation. See, this is the problem. You're really having a conversation between two individuals who actually have a career, who are actually businesswomen. Because Mel, and I know exactly what Mel is talking about. Mel is like, look, when you apply for government contracts, which is true, and you indicate that you have a certain percent of your company that's owned majority stake, that's owned by a woman, then all of these other financial opportunities open up to you, which is also true. And because these financial opportunities open up, you have to show that the woman has a percentage owned. So we find out in the unseen footage that aired tonight in the scene, that Tisha owns 85% of a company. Nell does the shade. You own 85% of a company that you are getting kicked out of. Marcel doesn't respond. I can go down. Mel does a very good and nice little quick overview for people who are not business owners. I am a business owner, but I don't go after government contracts. And government grants, but you can, and that depends on your state and your county. So, and the federal government too, for sure. Anyway, but you have to prove that women are involved in the company. And if you're able to do this, you're able to kind of open up. And actually, there is a certification that you go through, which I have to admit that I have not. And it's not much to go through. You just sit through a couple seminars, and it does open you up for lower interest rate loans, which is already low from if you want loans. It opens you up to some grants specifically for to increase women's ownership. And even if you go to this small business association, it will open up certain seminars, particularly. And if you're going to go from government funding for stuff, you can check your county and your city. Tidbit. Check your county and your city and in your state based on the different requirements. State of California, you would actually have to show up. I don't know what it's like now post-COVID, but you would have to show up in person to some of these things in order to get certification. Sometimes you have to show your articles of incorporation to show how much people are in, how much money, to show how much who has percent of what, that you have to do a government filing for your articles of incorporation in order to demonstrate women's ownership. So it depends on what your county and your state and your federal government requires, and your city. So it also depends on the contract. But sometimes your small business association will give you that information. Why am I going through this? Point that I'm saying this is that I'm gonna break it all down in one simple term. They're committing fraud. What she's trying to demonstrate is that Marceau is using Tisha in order to get money and in order to have his company off the ground and recognized as a women's majority owned company in order to have access to certain revenue and to certain financial benefits and government contracts. And because she has that level of ownership, she's able to do that. However, if you are putting her name on paper only and she's not involved in the company like that, then you are committing fraud. And that could mean very much so consequences for your company. Melody did a good job at underhandedly saying that they're committing fraud without actually saying it. And it opens the door to start questioning the level, to question what all we know about what all possibility, what's going on in the company itself. So if there's ever an audit of this, which how can I say this? The government will audit, but they're more likely to audit government contracts. But they take a long time to start auditing government contracts. And which is one of the reasons why I don't want to be bothered with government contracts. I mean, it's nice once you actually, first of all, you cannot start a company with a government contract. It takes a while because they want to see you in business for a while before you can get a government contract. And if somebody gets a government contract immediately with their business starting, then that's because they had to have some level of demonstration as an independent contractor for a while. Now, what they will let you do, then this is the sneaky part about government. What they'll let you do is they will let you be in business and let you keep doing this for a while, like what's happening with Tisha and her husband. And then they'll come back not 2 years, but like 5 years later and be like, I'm going to need this level of evidence. Of course, the Artists Incorporation is an easy thing, but I'm going to need this kind of evidence. And then they can use a demonstration of a lot of different types of evidence and they can bring charges. This has happened to my friend. I've had a friend who this has happened to. And I told her a year before they started investigating. No, see, this is the thing. They started an investigation before they let you know. So it's not like the IRS that sends you a letter to let you know that there's an audit happening. Mm. They start an investigation, and then by the time they send you a letter, the letter is like, look, this is what we're finding. Funding is ending now, immediately. Like your next check ain't coming. And here's your court date. Mm-hmm. And if you are, and this is an administrative court, so you're not like you're going to go to jail. I mean, you could, because what happens in the administrative court, if you're found guilty, then they absolutely can direct this to the DA and see if there's a prosecution here if they want you to. I mean, because what you're doing is you're committing fraud. You cannot claim that a chick is owning 85% of the company and she's not participating in the company. And the problem with you putting all your business on a television show like this is that we can take screenshots and we can, season 5, we absolutely see like on season 4, you have her in the company a little bit. Season 5, you have her out here with no desk. She's been pushed out. So you have to realize that there are some absolute definite ramifications for going on national television and airing all this out, airing all this ish out. I would not put my company on Front Street if I know that how I'm getting my government contracts is fake and fraudulent. The basis of it is that you're not you may be female owned on paper, but not in operation. And that's what Mel is trying to say. And she's trying to do this in a way that is not putting the responsibility on Tisha per se, but Tisha's complicit. See, Nell's like, look, Nell's this way. Nell's like, look, Tisha was there and she could have said something. Mel is trying to be like, this is Marcel. Nell's like, F that. Yes, it's Marcel, but Tisha is equally complicit because she could have said something and she didn't. And I'm with Nell. F the both of them. And I feel like there's going to be more legal trouble coming down the pike. They already have a lawsuit, but there's going to be more legal trouble. And even stuff like when she says, when last episode, Oh, you had the deposition. See, if you own 85% of the company, it's not a you deposition, it's a us deposition. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, Mel thinks that they're making all this, that they made money off of the whole event. I agree with Mel. They made no money. The only way that you could have made money off of this is if you would have charged people to attend. If you charge people to attend, like even if you charge people $20 to attend, they would have made money off of this. And actually, $20 isn't an unreasonable amount to attend something like this. So you could have charged people $20 for tickets, and that would have been reasonable, and it would have covered everything. But it would have yielded a profit. But you could have also got sponsors. But we didn't see the sponsors, which leads me to think that y'all didn't get sponsors. But Mel's like, they want people to think they make money. And that's why that's what I do think. Because Nell is assuming that they made money because Nell is trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. You guys have this company, you guys seem to be building stuff, there's an appearance of all this stuff, and then you are, it's not happening. And so what Mel is like, no, they're giving an appearance that they're made money, but they ain't make no money. And I agree. Nell's like, look, Tisha doesn't seem to be too friendly to her, so she's going to just be cordial. Mel has a problem with Marcel. Nels is like, look, Marcel seems to have a problem with women. And Melody's like, absolutely. But Melody's like, look, Marcel doesn't want us to be good, because if he sees that she's good, then he's afraid that I'm going to rub off on her. And me rubbing off on her means that all of a sudden, then maybe she's going to find the strength to leave. Kiki said she's sick, and girl, I'm going to wrap this up. I don't care. I don't believe you. I don't care. I've already told you in another video that my mother used to have this friend who kept claiming that she was sick. And I don't believe it. There's that. Moving on. I don't believe it. She kept going sick, and she kept going to the doctor to do all this. She kept getting shots. Her husband's like, look, I think it's the other drug you're on to get off of the drugs. I don't care. Marceau and Mel talk. He said that I was throwing a jab, but I wasn't throwing it to intentionally hurt you. My bad. He's just like, as a whole, I don't have a high opinion of e-commerce. So Mel is doing this whole laughing. Which I thought was annoying. So my bad, Mel. I thought it was annoying. And because her thing is, why are you in a business that you claim that you don't like and don't respect? And then she's like, look, I have a problem that you're minimizing me to e-commerce when you know that's not what I'm doing. And then he thought that she was crying, and she's like, look. And so then he apologized. Don't cry, Mel. I'm sorry. My bad. She's like, I'm not crying over you. She's like, but, and that's where she seemed to really snap. She was just like, I'm not crying over you. She's like, but look, you know that, one day Tisha's going to wake up. You don't want her to be around me. And one day Tisha's going to wake up and she's going to leave you. And why would you want her to leave me? She's like, I don't want her to leave you, but it's gonna happen. And I actually think that that's true. It is going to happen one day. Or unless she just plans on being a doormat forever, which is her business. But on the next episode, he makes a whole thing about how Mel throws so many different companies and is doing so many different things, and it seems like none of this is sticking. And I find that to be so ridiculous because you and your wife have so many businesses. Mr. Marceau, where's the podcast that Tisha started like 2 or 3 seasons ago? Hmm? What happened to the podcast? What happened to the potty? It didn't happen. Where are these hair care products that happened last season that you took someone else's tag off of it and put your own tag on it? What happened to those products? Hmm? What happened to the other t-shirt, wifey t-shirt that came in last season? No, last 2 seasons ago. Hmm? Like, I mean, you and your wife also throw a lot of this up, and they seem to be less successful. So explain why you feel like that was a nice comment to make. Y'all, I cannot stomach Marcel. But I feel that Tisha's about to get hit harder from the bullets of things that are aimed directly at Marcel. And I don't know if she's ready for those bullets that are about to come directly towards her. Mm. So with that being said, I bid you adieu. Bye.